the recent violent truck attacks in KwaZulu-Natal and Mpumalanga are dealing a huge blow to confidence in the economy. Business leaders say that investor sentiment is taking a hit as law enforcement appears to be ill-equipped to prevent the ongoing attacks. At least 11 trucks have been set alight by armed gunmen in separate incidents over the weekend at Van Reenen's Pass on the N3 and Waterval Boven on the N4 in Mpumalanga. Mary Phadi is from the Truckers Association of South Africa, and she joins us this afternoon for more on this issue. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Ms. Phadi. And I suppose the big question that everyone is wondering about here is the intelligence around knowing about these attacks before they occur. Is it there? Is our law enforcement failing us in some way, or has the industry taken it into their own hands in terms of providing their own services when it comes to such?
I think, intelligence has been assisting us for the past 5 years. But now, because of the formation and the establishment of the task team, we were more relaxed because we are engaging on a monthly basis to be able to talk to the issues that the truck drivers has and the grievances that we find ourselves out there as operators.
Yeah, and before we continue our conversation, the President has actually weighed in on this because it has reached a presidential level. Let's just listen to what the President had to say when it comes to these violent attacks and the concerns that he has.
I am concerned about these activities that take place that have a negative impact on our economy, and it's almost like economic sabotage, because burning 6 trucks on the main artery of our country in terms of the economy is concerning. The intelligence agencies are going to be giving me a report on that, so we will be getting that shortly, and of course the police themselves will be taking steps to make sure that we forestall whatever follow-up activity that those who are behind this may well be planning. But we are going to ensure that we go after those people who torched those trucks, because it's not acceptable that trucks and facilities that are enhancing our economy are attacked willy-nilly just like that, and they should never actually even be attacked. So it is a real concern.
Very big concern indeed, Ms. Phadi. And what are your members communicating to you when it comes to concerns of critical produce reaching some areas or some of the major metros? There was an example about milk that is produced in KZN, and is thousands of litres are brought into Gauteng on a daily basis, and that particular process is disrupted with incidents like this.
Look, our operators are agreeing with the President that it is an economic sabotage because it affects production. And they are clearly aware that if they ban a truck, consumers are going to suffer down there. And beyond that, it's going to take time for a company to recover, to be able to, claim through the insurance, as well as knowing very well that they will definitely get attention if the government is seeing the situation out there. It is indeed a sabotage from whoever that is doing this thing against the freight industry.
Yeah. What do your members say about the cost to them if they don't have enough insurance provision, for example? Do they have the kind of capital to then, purchase new trucks? What is the process that they're following when it comes to dealing with those cost implications?
Look, the freight industry is capital intensive, and operators are well aware that you cannot risk without having insurance, because anything can happen tomorrow. There's community unrest, there's strikes, there's a bargaining council, negotiations in terms of wages. So anything can happen, and therefore they need to understand that if you don't insure that vehicle, it's going to cost you more because a vehicle now costs over 2.5 million. So with these incidents, it's going to delay the process whereby, there will be low income coming in, especially, when we are sitting with the challenges of the load shedding now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been communicated that it's people that are against foreign nationals being hired by these companies that are running the trucks. What is the association's view on that argument, and what would you like to see in the form of government intervention?
Look, we do agree that whatever that is happening now happened 5 years ago, where the banning of trucks was a huge concern in this country. And this is a clear sign that, again, there's an issue about the employment of the foreign truck drivers. The reason for that is because they are not stealing any trucks. They are not hijacking trucks. They are not taking a product. They are just saying to the driver, you must step aside, and then, ban the truck. So it is clear that they are sending a clear message to say, we've been negotiating with you and we are not reaching out. But we are appealing to the government to make sure that out of the 11-point plan, let's agree that we deal with one matter. And one of the critical issues that was raised over and over again is the issue of the traffic register, where truck drivers are saying to us that the traffic register has got flaws. Quite a number of truck drivers has got access to documents that allows them to illegally drive, because you cannot be issuing that without being on the list of the scale.
Yeah, I mean, you did attend the transport conference that's currently underway, and I'm sure a myriad of issues were discussed, and I'm sure with incidents of this nature, Ms. Phadi, there's a concern around jobs in the industry. Is that a concern for the association and perhaps others in the industry that you've been engaging with? Yeah,
we are encouraging the employers, the operators, to refrain from employing foreign truck drivers. And, because the process of employing such, you need to do an application to the Department of Labor, you need to do an application to the Department of Home Affairs. Their PDP do not expire. So South Africans' PDP expire after 2 years. So we need to be saying, let's check what other countries are doing. You don't find a South African driver there, but they allow trucks to come in. And what we are getting on the ground is that the truck drivers are saying that we are not saying trucks must not come from other countries to South Africa. So those are the things that we would request our operators to make sure that they must refrain from doing that. We are trying our best to bring harmony and avoid such incident in this industry. We cannot see trucks banning. It's affecting us. It's affecting everyone. It's a concern. Operators are bleeding. Companies are not doing well. There's a fuel hike. So all those things together, and then you add with the people that are really being negative and employing those truck drivers, it's unfair to us as well as business.
Yeah, I mean, it is a dire situation indeed. And is there a risk that operators are eventually going to start finding alternative routes to the national routes that they currently use, apart from the N3 or the N4? Is there a risk that they're going to find other routes and we lose potential economic benefits from the trucking industry because they just feel unsafe on South Africa's roads? Yeah,
we are going to see many companies trying to operate during the day with this, low rate that they are receiving lately because of the economy that is not growing. So there is going to be a serious risk because some trucks are going to divert and some companies are going to be out of business. So we are going to sit with a situation where people are going to be unemployed. We are sitting with a high number of unemployment of people in this country. We are going to add, and on top of that, we are going to see a lot of truckers, changing the transportation of goods from South Africa and going to the nearest countries, because that's where it is safe. And that is going to affect South Africa, and we need to think about it.
Thank you very much for your time, Ms. Mary Phadi, joining us there this afternoon, painting quite a dire picture for operators currently in the industry and the risks the economy faces because of the attacks that we've seen.